we move, bringing summer to you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round again.
Said I'd find a way to turn my heart into something gold. Knew I sold my soul to the devil long ago. I wrote it all along on your wave right before it broke. Time was thrown down the well, so I let you go. What I do right now. What I do right now for you, for you. Carolina skies in the night, floating by your side. I fell up when you fell down, but we stayed in flight. I'm laughing to myself, 'cause I know that I can't deny. I can't find what you can't hide right inside my mind. What I do.
Я Соник. Я все еще здесь, чтобы защищать своих друзей.
Супер Ёж.
Я приду за вами.
Здесь, между прочим, нет поворота налево.
Супергерой.
Сейчас будет бум!
Как же ты уцелел?
Понятия не имею.
Соник в кино с 20 февраля.
I've been working part-time jobs, chasing all my dreams out lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side. I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going into our second and final match of the day. It's going to be the Unicorns of Love, of course, your favorite Counter-Strike team and name and jersey, facing off against Nemiga. Dean, who's going to win?
Hit me with it again. It's fine. At least we talked about it before. I'm gonna go with Nemiga. I think we both kind of agreed on that.
Really?
Nemiga definitely should be the
Oh.
favorites coming in. Yeah, Tom. I know you're surprised. You must have really bad short-term memory like I do. But yeah, I definitely favor Nemiga coming into this one. Although I believe Unicorns of Love just came on top of the knife round. I was a bit distracted. No, Nemiga did apparently because they're CT side now. So I'm just throwing out fake news and everything now.
Yeah, to be fair, like, we basically spoke about it before and saying I personally think that Nemiga should be aiming to try and get into playoffs. They've been a long-standing team within the MDL, whereas Unicorns of Love have been a team that have been up and down. Like they've been relegated back down again and then come back up once again for another season. We saw like glimmers of hope through like individual players, but it doesn't really seem like, so far at least, they've been a team to challenge versus the best. So be interested to see if there's more coming out from them here. Of course, they are starting on the T side of Nuke. Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially against a team like Nemiga, who I wouldn't say are the most structured unit in the world, but at least in terms of individual skill, there's going to be a fair amount there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like the players don't have the chemistry between each other. They've been playing together for quite a while, and already that's becoming evident. More so just the shots being connected at this point, I suppose, for Nemiga. Only one frag being returned from Unicorns of Love, and that's what they're limited to for the round, as I was a little bit afraid there for MDS as he was dropping out of heaven. But yeah, the opening pistol goes in favor of Nemiga. Just kind of keeping it simple there, I suppose, for Unicorns of Love, trying to go quickly out towards A, trying to burst out door, having a couple players probing around the hut, but just against the USPs. Also, of course, there was the players outside trying to drop onto the hut. It was onto main rather, so that they could actually split in, but just being picked apart one by one. I mean, a flash maybe would have been handy, but I mean, you also do just have to sometimes concede if you're getting hit in the face. The shots are being connected from Nemiga. That's pretty difficult to actually overcome, especially on those pistols. But here we go. The force spike comes in, and this is interesting. A double scout on the T side of Nuke. If they don't get a pick early, they're going to be super limited with what they can actually do.
This was a late decision as well. Like they decided to do this at the last second, so I wonder if it was because KZ accidentally bought a scout or if this was actually part of the plan from the get-go. Because normally, if this is like your standard second round thing, you don't buy it the very last second. So I'll be interested to see how this goes. I'm always a fan of the double scout, normally on the CT side though, but it does give the ability to hit those tags. The problem is, at the moment at least, the CT side are playing very passive, which doesn't really help those scouts too much. You want them to be pushing. Maybe that's something that Unicorns of Love actually expected, which, to be fair, we saw in the previous map, like, how aggressive teams can be, like, when it comes to these second rounds. But for Nemiga, they're content. They're going to sit back. They're going to wait for the T's to come to them. And that's going to be troublesome, considering you have 2 scouts and a few pistols.
I mean, there's 1 kill so far. Speedak able to assist there on the scout. Up close in A main, though, Jo going to be holding for anyone who tries to creep forward. So it does seem like for the moment the advantage should remain pretty firmly in favor of Nemiga, and MDS just mowing them down on the MP9. Lollipop comes in to clean up, and that is a sweet round indeed for Nemiga. Keeping 4 players alive, not too bad. Rather, only losing Boxing, and I'm not really sure what he had in the previous round. Do you know what weapon he actually had in play? I don't think he really lost anything too valuable. At least he comes onto the M4 now, so that gives him a pretty solid weapon. Then coming into the following round, when the guns should actually come out from Unicorns of Love. This one, though, is going to be the Eco, so surprising we have a pause coming in. Is this a technical, most likely? Yeah, looking at the ping, Patrick sitting on 111, so that's not ideal.
Yeah, this is the classic. Pull your Ethernet cable out, go collect the pizza you got delivered. It's no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I have heard, and like, I can't remember who told me this, but I always questioned how many people said that they had technical issues and then went and had food
Same, man.
delivered.
It seemed ridiculous. Like,
I
I play games constantly, and I'm never having these issues, and
No.
you guys have them every 2 minutes. Like, it
Well,
just doesn't make sense.
TeamSpeak breaks like every day, and I don't think I've ever had it break. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just keep forgetting to pay for their servers.
To
But
be to
yeah,
be fair,
this one makes sense. Patrick's actually lagging, so that's
yeah,
fair.
there was I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who I asked, but I was like, "Have you ever gone and got food?" And it was somebody telling me that during one of the minor qualifiers, they took a technical pause to go and eat dinner, which is just fantastic.
I mean, to be
Especially
fair,
because
those are
it's not
really long
even
quals.
yeah, but especially considering it's one of the like more important qualifiers as well. Not even just like, hey, we did it in a best of one map or something online. No, they did it in the minor qualifiers, which hey, that's brilliant, but you know what? Fair enough. Like when you're hungry, you're hungry. You're not yourself when you're hungry. There's some unsponsored chocolate bar that says that. And we're just gonna be sat here waiting for that ping to drop. But yeah, not really seen too much so far. I think Unicorns are Lava obviously gonna have to try and get back into this one fairly quickly. They look like they're actually gonna play on with
Yeah.
Patrick still lagging. Maybe gonna
It's only gone up since they paused, so I mean the issue's gotten worse.
use some of those German skills. That's what they're gonna do. He's gonna use it to his advantage.
Swing quickly. Use the peeker's advantage with the high ping. Who knows? What's he have right here? I don't think he really has anything to work with, unfortunately. Just the Glock. He's actually going to be trying out a smoke towards the door. Try and get down through vent, rather. Maybe get the bomb planted even. As I said, though, Crispy surfing around A main. Manages to take down Speedak. Unfortunately, Box comes back with one JO, then managing to successfully hold in towards that A bomb site. But again, some pretty good damage actually being done right now. 2 kills already found, make that 3. As KZY was able to get himself one more at least. So not a bad round at all from Unicorns. I love very little investment, just a few pistols being upgraded. They get themselves 3 frags and force Nemiga to come in with a lot of reinvestment here. It was a few weaker weapons as well, though, that they did drop, so I don't think Nemiga are too upset because they probably wanted to upgrade quite a few of those anyway. You can see now just the 1 MP9 being kept, so they have a very strong buy at least coming into this first gun round.
Yeah, I still think though in the grand scale of things, that was quite a disappointing round for them. Like,
Yeah,
they should have done better. They should have made more money. And well, even if it's rebuys of grenades and armor, that's not the best start. Box though, this is great for him in this round. Gets aggressive in towards Secret early. They don't expect him with a 2-for-1 trade already. It's going to set his team up nicely. They've still got to be careful as well. The Estonian Geo is going to be lurking around Mini, but the timing goes the other way. He's caught with his pants down and gives the T's a chance back into this round.
yeah, strong opening. They've still plenty of time to work with as well. Bomb in a bit of an awkward spot. I mean, Speedak right now playing above the smoke can actually spot it. The timing, I believe, not quite working out. Does re-peek in and take down KZY. Up close, Andy. I was going to say not being expected, but he still manages to flick over. And now it's all on Patrick. He's left alone in a 1-on-3. Tries to creep out on towards A, I believe, right there. Yeah, and indeed gets taken down by Lollipop. 4-0 for Nemiga. They're able to recover slightly from that previous round now. And without the bomb plant going down, Unicorns of Love likely just put back to the pistols and the Kevlar again. Pause coming through. Is this one a tactical, or are they going to be calling in the technical again to see if maybe Patrick can get his internet fixed? Because it is a best of 1. Everything really relying on this one map right now, so they don't want to be playing with a disadvantage if it's not necessary. I suppose maybe a quick router reset could give it a fix, because they clearly didn't try that because he never disconnected from the server. I guess hoping it would just drop on its own. Maybe every now and again he just spikes a little bit.
Yeah, I guess everybody just knows their own connection best. I know in the past where there were just days where I would just sit there. This was when I was living in England and just go, yeah, it's done. Like, it's done. There's nothing I could do. I could throw the router out the window. It doesn't matter. Unnamed internet company number 7 is just not running well today. But then I moved to
GPT.
Ukraine where internet is wonderful. Like
Is
that
it?
is
Okay.
yeah, my internet is 800 down, 800 up. Like you
Damn, not bad.
can't really complain about that, can you?
Is
I
that a
think it cost
business
me
line
about
or is that just consumer? Like
nope.
anyone can get it?
That is
Consumer, not
well,
bad.
to be fair, I think it cost me like 15 euros a month, and they did say that they had to change the settings on the building because no one else had asked for that package. But I was just like, hey, that's not expensive,
It's like,
and
I want it, yeah. It's just like, I don't know
yeah.
why other people wouldn't ask for it at that point.
Well, I guess everyday people
The
go, you know
overkill,
what,
yeah.
200 is enough. But I was like, nah, max it out.
All the power. I want all the
Yeah.
power.
Hey, it makes downloading games wonderful. But there you go. He has now gone for your classic strategy of turn it off and turn it back on again. So hopefully Patrick will be back fairly soon. But Yeah, as of right now, I think this is looking like business as usual for Nemiga. As said, they are a long stay within the MDL. They're a team that we expect to be minimum challenging for playoffs, but really they should be in playoffs, especially now with like some of the teams moving into other leagues and stuff. Like you've lost some of the heavier hitters within the MDL. There's still a large amount of good teams, but maybe not to the same extent. So I'm expecting them to now do better and have opportunities to obviously fight into Pro League where you do have 24 of the best teams. So I think this is important for Nemiga and for Unicorns of Love. This is a match where I guess we can use this sort of as feelers for how they're going to do for the rest of the season. They did manage to beat AGO, which I'll be honest, for me at least, that's quite a big surprise. So they're definitely going to be there as one of the upset teams. But I think this season at least should be like, okay, let's make sure we try and go for a mid-table finish, and then next season we can work on what we failed at. Because although they play, I think you said they play the Meisterschaft as well, you're still not going to have as many like top tier opportunities as you would if you're playing MDL week in, week out.
Yeah, definitely. I remember covering some of these players, and I remember Unicorns of Love did have a team in some of the previous seasons of Meisterschaft, but I'm not sure about the current one as I actually haven't been involved. But at the moment, we're still waiting on Patrick to come back. Hopefully, not an issue that'll take too long to be resolved. We want to get the action going. It's given a little bit of time for Nemiga to kind of just sit and talk, I suppose, and also for Unicorns of Love to do the same. They're the ones that very likely. I mean, I don't want to see them coming really onto the buy when they come back here. They could, if they wanted, scrape it out. It just they'd have pretty much no utility. They'd be limited to maybe a quick approach in towards one of the bomb sites, or maybe outside or so. So most likely, Pistols Kevlar, once he does come back, they'll focus probably on the round that follows it, and at that point, we'll need to start actually building up a few rounds.
Well, I've got one more question before we maybe go to some music.
Okay,
What is your opinion on the Unicorns of Love jersey?
it's horrendous.
Oh,
I
that's a
just
bit
don't like
mean,
it.
you know.
It's just not a pretty design, man. I wouldn't wear it. I'm sure some people would, but I'm a very plain type person when it comes to
They're the
clothes.
plain Jane. I can't show
Yeah.
people what I'm wearing because it is vulgar and a little bit rude, and I think
Does that just mean you're wearing
God
nothing?
would be disappointed in me. But
He's in his birthday suit, confirmed.
we were on cams a second ago. I would have had to strip down.
Yeah,
pretty
you can
quick,
change
but,
quickly, man.
You know,
Maybe
I
it's
don't have
just
to
from
wear
the
trousers.
waist up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wearing
But,
jeans for some stupid reason.
Oh no, tracky bottoms all the way. But yeah, I think before we ruin MDL's fantastic brand, we are going to chuck it to a little bit of music, and we'll be back once Patrick is back.
Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down, never fade out. Never fade out.
Well, it was a bit of a short hiatus. Unfortunately, Patrick's ping is still through the roof, but we'll see if he can use that to the best of his ability. They're actually going to go for a bit of an investment in this round. Some Mac Daddies alongside a UMP and a Deeg. And they did manage to do a fair amount with just some pistols last time. Smoke lands at the perfect timing, and Box, well, he's going to give a little love tap to JDC. But I don't know if he knows how far KZ has actually got already.
Ooh, definitely knows now that there's someone up close here. Or it's single, expecting someone else to try and follow it up through secret as well, though. So ends up getting caught off guard slightly. Speedak trying to shut down this ramp push, just playing from hell in a fairly passive position, but they're just going to push him down. I like this. Rather than just going down ramp, they overwhelm the off. They're able to actually steal that away now. And with that, have themselves a pretty decent man advantage. I mean, the issue still being that KZY and JDC are both just barely hanging on to life. Box also rotating down through Secret. I'm not too sure if maybe his steps could have been heard there. Oh, hang on. Lollipop. I think the push coming back through ramp may catch him off guard. He spotted one shoulder, or maybe didn't, because I'm not too sure. Didn't really react as Andy came back out with the op. And with that now, the A-bomb site almost under the control of the T side. I mean, Box is still in a decent position to try and slow it down. Has a smoke and a flash as well. But he's about to be flanked out on now around True Secret. So this is going to be tough. He may not expect them. Goes quickly to check up close on the left side, but overwhelmed by the Mac-10. And now it's all on JO. He is still on this A-bomb site, but with 4 coming towards him, as long as they can trade this successfully, it should be easy enough. But there we go. One quick kill being found. The bomb was being dropped over towards KZY, so now it's just left in the open. But there it is, a headshot from Andy on the op. A bit of overkill, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, and they worked wonders with very little once again. It seems like these aggressive, faster plays are actually what works well for the Unicorns of Love. Of course, we haven't really seen too much in terms of proper buys just yet from them, so it's hard to judge too much from what we've seen, but they've at least now forced back Nemiga into what's going to be a few rifles alongside my favorite gun in the game, the XM. So I'm looking forward to seeing some shotgun magic, and this is definitely one of the maps where it is viable. Like we've seen plenty of players like Oscar, Hiko in the past playing around this hut area, a little bit closer for JO, who is just going to be on the edge of the vents and clearly a little bit worried after last round about the potential of players rotating through Secret.
Yeah, definitely. That became a big issue during the previous round, just because they had to start rotating down players. They kind of lost track of where Unicorns of Love could actually be at that point, and it was just a kind of confusing but well-played round at the same time from Unicorns of Love. But this weaker buy right now from Nemiga definitely still doable, as you said. You like seeing that shotgun in play. I'm not too sure where it's being brought towards. Them actually rotated down through Secret, so yeah, this is a pretty good spot. They can afford to just leave JO here. It allows them to focus elsewhere, leave 1 on ramp, maybe put 3 towards the A-bomb site. I believe that's how they've gone ahead and done it. So a strong setup at this point, but outside control now beginning to come in again for the T side, this time taking it a lot slower. But they will eventually manage to creep down towards Secret, and with that, JO has decided to play even a little bit more passive right now. So in the vent itself, I mean, if Unicorns of Love just creep forward, JO isn't going to be getting that info too early. As I said that though, Flash comes in, so maybe he does have a bit of an idea now about what's happening.
Oh, it definitely does now. Ooh, nice shot onto JDC, but the trade's very quick. 20 seconds left on the clock, but the remaining CTs not in the best of positions. Most of them around the other side of the map. Speedak needs to at least get a kill off here, but he's going to be sectioned out. It is at least going to allow the T side to get that bomb down with seconds left on the clock. The question is how they're going to actually work into this retake. Nade comes through, Speedak gets dunked down half his health, and the second nade as well almost kills off 2 people. Box is left on just 11 HP, and the remaining 3 still stuck on this ramp. They don't have any avenues to get back into the site, still trying to clear out positions that are not currently being covered, and this 4v3 has quickly dwindled into just Box looking to save an AWP. Great hold coming out from the German side, and KZ, he's the one leading the way with 3 kills to his name.
Yeah, oh damn, Crisby with such a quick rotation up through the vents, actually able to stop him from being able to even run away and save the up. That would have been perfect. I mean, they're very likely just ecoing on their way, but at least having an up here beside a couple of pistols to try and get some damage done, keep themselves in with a chance of doing something at least in the round. Instead, now just push straight onto the full eco. They will get themselves 2,400, so it'll be an okay buy in the next round, but even then, very unlikely to even be able to afford the op for themselves. So bit of damage here, be nice, a few kills, try and boost up that economy for themselves a slight bit if they could. Well, let's see what the plan is. I'd like to see something aggressive, and that's exactly what's going to be happening actually over towards ramp right now. Very passive on the hold as well from Unicorns of Love, maybe expecting that aggression to come in. And with only 1 frag being found there by Lollipop, that's a pretty successful round from Unicorns of Love, able to keep 4 up.
Yeah, that just seemed like Nemiga just throwing one away. Just try and get aggressive, try and catch them off guard. If you do any damage, great. But now they come back in with a buy. You do wonder if some of the investments of the previous round maybe wanted to be reduced a little bit, because there's still utility limitations. You also don't have a kit available to you, so if the bomb goes down, which we have seen a couple of times now, it could be a bit of an issue. And it seems like now that Unicorns of Love actually have the utility available to them, they can actually start really playing with Nemiga. I think that's something they've actually done quite well, is just forcing rotations that aren't really necessary, but that you make them think is necessary by just your utility usage. So again, we're going to see the nades. These are the exact nades from the Singularity through. I don't know if they've stolen that from them or if that is just something coming into the meta, but There was a video on ESCA Twitter last week of this exact nade stack, and they've done the exact same thing and got results. So that's got to be so tilting because the last time that nade stack was used, it was also killing guys from Nemiga.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're just not going to feel safe standing anywhere in that area. But right now, Speedak has rotated in to try and recover from that frag that they lost early on. And with two quickly being found on both Crispy and JDC, indeed, it puts them in a pretty solid position. Because KZY rather going to be able to at least bring one back on MDS, but Unicorns of Love still down in the 2-on-3. Patrick, though, trying to catch the timing on that rotation. Did hear the drop off of the hook, but didn't really look too willing to try and pounce on it yet. Letting instead KZY continue to pressure on towards that B bomb site and see if he can maybe find any. The issue is Speedak rotating in, not being expected. That should be actually the bomb getting dropped, and also ready for the rotation down the vent, already connecting damage onto Patrick. It's an easy finish for JO. 5-3, Nemiga, a solid recovery there.
Yeah, especially after that nade stack, you expect getting the entry kill to really get more results for the T side, but not really able to play too much off of it. And while Nemiga now confirm their lead once again, we're going to see the shotgun come into play. A different player this time, so I wonder where MDS is actually going to be playing. It's up close on the ramp, so maybe hoping to get a little bit aggressive here, and we'll just get that smoke down early on. It's more if rotations come into play. That's where the limitations of that gun really comes in, and Box already, after being nade stacked out of the previous round, it's going to be like a much more passive position. In fact, just making sure that they can't actually get themselves down secret too easily.
Yeah, as you said with that shotgun, if it does come down to a retake towards either of these bomb sites, really, MDS will be in a tough spot actually trying to help out. Unicorns of Love already getting down into secret itself, but the smoke and box up close going to be trying to delay them for just a while. Getting very aggressive, though. That's an interesting choice to actually push forward. Ends up being spotted by JDC and taken down, weakening up towards this B-bomb site right now. Jo in the vent only able to put out a small bit of damage and actually ends up in a worse position himself, rather, down to 34. So this is not looking too good for Nemiga. It seems like Unicorns of Love may be able to return around quickly, but the bomb for the moment is still towards outside. So they do need to get this towards the B-bomb site most likely, where most of their players are, or else over towards A. And I like this from Nemiga actually pushing in towards lobby. They're going to have 4 players here to try and actually cut off a couple of these, maybe even steal the bomb away, but Patrick is ready to from above the hut. And with that Speedak and MDS, they don't really have much chance anymore. Both players still pushed up into the lobby. The bomb now just being taken on towards Amy, and there's not a lot of time, so maybe if they could stop the plant, there is a small chance. But as we said, also that shotgun quite limited.
Well, I think after retrieving a rifle, making things a little bit more costly, they are just going to fall back into the save. Again, this was something I mentioned when they played against Singularity, is that Nemiga have a almost domino effect, where it seems like a lot of the time when a player is lost on their team, they don't really have the structure to hold on without that player. So they then react in turn to try and get back into the round. So we saw it for the last round where they were very aggressive and it paid off. We see it in this round where they're very aggressive, and this time Unicorns of Love are ready for it. And I think that it's a dangerous way to play Nuke if you don't have that sort of restructure or different positions that people could take, or even just the aggression that you have becomes a little bit too predictable. And I do wonder now that Unicorns of Love have spotted them do it once and lost to it, if that same level of aggression is going to pay off in Amiga again.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. I mean, maybe this is a round where they might consider aggression again, but even then, as you said, haven't done it so recently, I think they might just end up playing it a little bit more standard here. Only having 2 rifles, a few pistols to back it up. You do sometimes like to see a gamble on these, but let's see. Right now, one of those rifles, I believe, being sent towards outside, so playing a little bit more aggressive with it up in towards secret right now, seeing if they can catch some players crossing over, which so far for the majority of the rounds for Unicorns of Love, rather, they have had at least a couple of players come in this direction. MDS then left towards ramp, and with that, the pistols just stacked up around the A-bomb site. So a little bit of a gamble being taken. I do like it. Maybe there's the opportunity for at least a few kills to be found, try and steal away another couple weapons, do some damage. But it looks like Speedak could be challenged. I don't think really many are going to move in this direction. At most, maybe just KZY and Crisby, but it seems kind of more likely that they might want to try and split in towards the A-bomb site itself. And a nice smoke as well, probably predicting that at this point, Nemiga may react by trying to actually rotate a player around the peak up through secret.
I am liking this from Unicorns of Love, though. They're patient in their play. It's something that we definitely noted before when we saw them playing in the MDL, that at least in terms of structure, there's definitely something there. It's just whether they can actually hold up in some of the individual stances. And as we know, Speedak has just managed to find the first kill, although the rotation is caught. That's one of the pistol players dropped. Lollipop only able to net one, and there's actually another man coming back in from behind box. He only holds that AW feed for a second, and Speedak trying to do exactly the same thing as his teammate. No surprise, meets the same results. MDS not really anywhere near the action, and once again, it's just going to be them forced into a save. So good recovery again from the Unicorns of Love, just slowing down the pace, catching players off on rotation, which is something we mentioned before. They've been pretty damn good at doing, and they're going to get their 5th round already on the T side. So looking fairly comfortable, although something again we noted when we saw Singularity play against Nemiga. Nemiga do actually have a decent statistic for their win percentage on the T side. It didn't come to fruition versus Singularity, but maybe versus Unicorns of Love they'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's Nemiga do like to be very aggressive, and of course on the T side that's a little bit easier to do. But yeah, looks like MDS will save the rifle at least, and that's a big carryover because they really don't have the greatest of economy still coming into this one. Could give him the opportunity to drop a rifle over to someone else so they can get utility. He'll still be able to get quite a bit himself, even if he drops over the M4. But a pause coming in. I wouldn't be too surprised if this is Nemiga right now, realizing that it's getting into a spot where, I mean, at most, they just want to give away one more round here on the CT side. They need at least 9 to really be feeling comfortable. So they need to start picking it up just a small amount. No op going to be available unless they want to go for the glass cannon over towards Speedak. But I don't know if that's going to be too likely. Let's see. Still considering it. There we go. He does actually end up bringing out the glass cannon. So we'll have it alongside a couple of flashes to support. Maybe he can wrap that around towards Secret now. We've seen in the previous round they had the rifle placed there, of course. But ideally, you'd want an op as well. But then again, as we said, it can become a little bit too predictable. So let's see what he actually attempts. Definitely heading towards outside anyway early on. Oh, little run boost just to save some time.
Yeah, again, this looks like another round though where I feel like Nemiga are going to have to get a little bit aggressive if they're going to be able to survive this one, just because they have that limitation in armor and utility as well, and they can't really afford for this to go into a retake because unless they're already with a big advantage, the chances of them retaking seem fairly slim. Also, considering that Unicorns of Love have actually been pretty good in their after plant situation, so we're going to see Box, bit of an off angle. Not something you really see too often in Counter-Strike. In fact, I don't think I ever really see this angle taken. So interesting to say the least, but he is just going to have to fall back off that little aggressive point. Did give him an angle actually over any smokes that they would have thrown, but unfortunately not really able to hold on to it in a super risky position to try and keep. Doesn't matter though. This is just what you get with some of the Nemiga players. They're so good individually. It's just whether or not the rotations, whether or not the gambles and trades are actually going to go effectively for the rest of the round. With that opening pick, Unicorns will have once again on the back foot with 40 seconds left on the clock. Looking like they're going to go for that outer take once again.
Yeah, but I believe that's just an attempt to try and actually pull some of these players down towards B early on. As you can see, they're going to be moving in towards ramp right now with one player actually. The rest of them setting up potentially to just move in towards the A bomb site. So here we go. A little bit of a double fake, I guess, being sold in a couple different areas of the map. KZY opens up as he comes in from main, looking for the second on top of the hut and will be able to find it. This is just quickly falling apart for the CT side, but there's only 10 seconds remaining for him to actually get that bomb planted. And he should be able to get it down, but they left it quite close. KZY also having to actually try and defend the push, will take down MDS, and now it's all on Speedak. The player who we pointed out, of course, coming into this round, wasn't able to get himself to Kevlar and already has been tagged up heavily. Now being spotted in heaven, and I mean, his chances, they're going down. He's going to retreat back down through hell and see if the op can at least be carried over into this next round. The issue is, though, Unicorns of Love already going to be sitting on 6 here on the T side. And with the economy that's going to actually be available for Nemiga in the next, very likely looking at a 7-5 lead.
Yeah, one of those players that sort of came in from Dream Eaters, looked decent in that squad. And again, he's looking decent in this one, but it just seems like, again, it's like individual plays that are being made. Oh, that is not what you want to ever see when you're an AWPer firing off your first bullet and not connecting. But yeah, it's left in a situation where because they go for these riskier force buys, a lot of the time either he doesn't have his AWP or he doesn't have his Kevlar or they don't have the nades to set him up properly. And I feel like that's just more the fault of the structure of this team being so aggressive, being so risky in the style of play. Where I do wonder if they had someone sort of calming them down and keeping them into their safer buys, if we'd actually see better results coming out from the Nemiga. Because this is now the second time where I'm watching them on Nuke, and I'm thinking this does not look like a strong Nuke side, at least a strong team. And they're being picked apart by Singularity, who, although I was impressed with how they played, they are a relatively new team, so we shouldn't really expect to see results coming out from them straight away. And Unicorns of Love, who are a newly promoted team, I believe. So again, this is a team that Nemiga, we expect better things from. And even if they do manage to turn this on the T side, you expect a better CT side than this.
Yeah, I feel like it's with their individual skill, they're kind of willing to take those sacrifices, rather having the less utility. But as you said, if they were to play it a little bit safer, ensure that they have those strong buy rounds at all times, I do also feel like Nemiga probably would find more success, especially on the CT side. But already the opening kill for Unicorns of Love. I mean, we're not expecting too much from Nemiga here in this. Only a few pistols, Kevlar being upgraded onto 3 of the players. So there is a chance for at least a few kills to come in. But even then, a few players, 3 of them rather, over on the Unicorns of Love side already have the economy a little bit out of control. And yes, aggressive on ramp, able to take down 1. The weapon, of course, not going to be retrieved. So not too bad for Unicorns of Love. They did, of course, quickly trade it also. So keeping the man advantage. And with this now moving down on towards B, it's only Box to try and hold. Takes down JDC in the background. True Crisby finishes him off and takes Andy to hell as well. It's all on KZY at this point. How has this happened? He may even be able to find himself the fourth. There we go.
Oh my god. What? Okay, this is the sort of thing we're talking about, though, when it comes to the differences within these two teams. I think Unicorns of Love has the better structure. I think as team play goes, they've been doing fairly well. I don't know if they have that, though. I don't know if we've seen anything like that. I remember a couple of seasons ago, Andy managed to hit like a couple of double AWPs in a row, which was ridiculous. But the fact that Box is just able to do that with just a D, pretty much save the economy of the CT side, give them that extra finances and level things up right away, that's got to be painful for Unicorns of Love. That was their chance to basically guarantee themselves the half.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in a pretty good position. They had the economy to rebuy in. They still do on 3 of the players, but it's a round that was pretty much free for them, I would say, just because it was such a low buy. But, I mean, you can't really do much if Box is just going to step up like that, take 4 players with the deagle. The first kill, as well, as I pointed out, was, I believe, not even the one he was quite aiming for, but it worked out. It was perfect. But already outside control has been found early on in this round. There's still over a minute for Unicorns of Love to actually work with. They have a couple players down in secret. They've forced out the rotations rather here from Nemiga, with both Jo and Box coming down. Well, they look to try and maybe work back, get some control elsewhere as well. Just, I guess, kind of keep the doubt in the mind of Nemiga. For the moment, it does seem like Nemiga, they kind of know what's happening. They've set themselves up and they're reacting quite well to it. Especially since they've had the utility. Molotovs as well available to maybe try and slow it down a bit. MDS, unfortunately, not in position. JDC takes down Jo, and Box, he tries to follow it up by peeking straight out, but also drops. And with that MDS, he has to hold down the bomb site too quickly as they come out double. Retreats back, does some damage onto KZY. And with that frag, especially from Lollipop up on A now, Nemiga have managed to get themselves into a very strong position.
Oh, the smoke play. This could be big. I think he knows, though. He's heard the jumps, and that'll be a kill for Speedak as well, just to close out the round.
All right.
I want to point out, I don't think there was a single kill that came in there from the guys at Nemiga that involved any team play at all.
Yeah, no,
That
it
was
was
MDS
all
spraying down
individual.
2. Lollipop, I think he gets a kill on the other side of the map at some point, and then Speedak just lurking around the edge of the smoke gets 2 kills with the AWP. This is what I mean. Like, I don't just want to rattle on this team. It's almost like giving them credit in a sense of imagine how good they'd be if they did have some team synergy, because that was madness. It was just messy Counter-Strike. They got in a brawl. They're 3v5 down, and they somehow managed to just turn it around to end up with a few players still alive.
Yeah, I mean, we seen an attempt at some teamwork when Box tried to at least peek and refrag, but they were a little bit delayed even on him peeking out, so they weren't in positions to work straight off of each other. But at the point Box came out, everyone had just readjusted already their focus onto the vents. Speedak, though, going to be able to actually pick up the opening here on round number 14. KZY trying to creep down secret, this time being denied the pleasure of the control, and with that now, a 5-on-4 very early on. JDC, though, already creeping around towards May and ends up losing one teammate in the background. Will at least trade that frag, but already taken low. And with a 3-on-2, despite a second frag actually being found before he does eventually go down, it's just still not enough. Cleaned up from the back corner, Box able to get 2. 3 players surviving here for Nemiga and going into the final round of the half. Unicorns of Love, rather, the economy they had built up over that T side has finally ran down. They will actually be looking on a little bit of a weaker investment here. They'll get what they can, of course, but it's mostly just going to be pistols, I'd imagine. And that is indeed the case. But, I mean, nades are actually okay. It could be worse.
Yeah, this is one of those halves where I actually feel quite bad for the Unicorns of Love because I feel like they deserve to win it. Like, just in terms of how they played, I think they deserve to be winning the half. Unfortunately, just some of the individual brilliance that came out from Nemiga has at least given them the half and should give them the 9-6. And YMDS again, how does he get away with this? There should have been a trade there way earlier, and he set his team up wonderfully. KZ, he has been the star performer for Unicorns of Love, but he needs a 4K with 4 players still standing, and him the only man left on the German roster.
You don't fancy his chances. Right now, creeping down towards Secret. If he can get this first kill on JO, maybe there is a chance, but unfortunately doesn't expect JO to be already up close to playing a little bit of a headshot angle as well, crouched in the corner, making it a bit more difficult for it to be dealt with. So 9-6 at the halftime, and Nemiga actually coming in with a pretty decent CT side, all things considered. It did look like rather they were going to be going down at least maybe 7 rounds over the Unicorns of Love. Being able to actually pull off that weaker buy for themselves is what gave them the kind of chance to start clawing it back. And I mean, they're in a pretty good spot. I do still think Unicorns of Love have a good opportunity, though, especially since they look like the team, as you said, with the stronger chemistry. I think once they swap over to the CT side, if they can get off to a good start, especially, I think it'll be difficult for Nemiga to try and get through them once that utility is available, once the smokes, the Molotovs, and the nades are all there for them to play with.
Yeah, I think the only thing that worries me is just, like, I don't think you're going to get the same sort of Counter-Strike that you would have even played anywhere else. Any level of, like, real structure. I think it's just going to be like a death ball. And to play against that, especially when you're newly promoted, even though they've been here before, I think it's going to be really difficult. I think Nemiga are going to cause them trouble. I think something that we saw from Singularity is they were able to weather the storm quite well early on. And I think the real issue is that Nemiga, if they get off to a strong start here, I think they'll just run through them. And while already, speaking of just running through them, they're going straight towards that ramp position. There are 3 players here, but they are just, well, demonstrating exactly what I said. Already managing a couple of kills. They do get a little bit over-aggressive here, but they're still coming out on top in the end. KZ tagged down to just 2 HP. You can see Boxy wants this final frag to leave Patrick all alone, but instead, they are just going to wait on the ramp, wait for their opposition to rotate a little bit, and then try and reposition into the round.
Ooh, KZY almost able to actually catch them coming back from ramp. At the very least, gets the info now, so Patrick can actually begin to rotate up to help him out, which allows for that one trade. But now he's in the 1-on-2 still. It's not an easy spot, as both of the Nemiga players do just peek them together. You like to see that they're in the 2-on-1 rather than trying to just go for a bomb plant or whatever. Peek in, ensure to trade. And I'm not sure if you guys can hear my dog in the background, but she's very excited. Maybe she supports Nemiga. She's happy they got the pistol round. But Unicorns of Love, they're coming in with the Force Buy right now. They're going to go for the Scout. Not going to get 2 of them, like you said you like to see on the CT side. Instead, just the 1. But they do have 2 MP9s, a P250, and a Deagle. So if that Scout can get in a few shots early on, deal out some damage, it could make it a lot easier. But as I say, that a quick ramp rush just going to be coming in.
Well, this is what they do. The death ball in full swing, but it's going to be Speedak, the first one to go down. They really are just rushing this all the way. Another kill comes in for the CT side. They've got to be careful to check all the remaining angles. KZ in a good position is actually going to win another duel, and it seems like the death ball may have stopped rolling a little bit here. MDS and Bot's going to be the remaining 2, but we have seen them swing rounds. Well, that they shouldn't. I think that's the best way to put it. They got to be careful, though, for Crispy. I don't know if there's anybody even defending. This is kind of madness, but the peak doesn't actually come in time. They don't get that kill, and there's opportunities now. Andy does still drop that bomb one more time, but MDS, well, he has time.
This was a very strange round. Crispy in the back rather was somehow able to stay alive for a lot longer than it seemed likely. Initially, he had pretty much a free kill on the bomb planter and then just continued to peek in and out for a very long time, kind of playing with him. So that worked out perfectly, running the time down anyway a little bit. And with that, KZY, Andy, they steal it away, both barely hanging on with low health, but they managed to recover over a couple of AKs. They, of course, put Nemiga in a very tough spot now because they don't have the boosted loss bonus like they would have got if they were to lose the pistol. Instead, only actually getting themselves $1,400, giving themselves very little options to actually work with. See, 3 Deagles, a Scout, a P250, a worse force bite than we actually seen from Unicorns of Love in that previous round. So at this point, I was going to say it should be the opportunity for Unicorns of Love to start building up some momentum here on the CT side, but the Deagles are just too much for them to deal with. Lollipop and Box already picking up openings, and it's the 5-on-3. The round has barely begun, and already Unicorns of Love, it looks like they've kind of thrown it away. It's definitely still the opportunity to recover, but they've lost the outside control also, rather, just making it very difficult for them to actually know what's going on.
Yeah, I think the only saving grace is the fact that they have all their rifles still, and the smokes are beginning to fade. So that should give them at least the opportunities for Jules to come in. Andy, that'll be a freebie kill, at least something to his name. And a retrieval of a pistol. Rotation being held by Lollipop, and he needs to win this duel, and he does. And now he's just holding them in this position. Wastes a little bit of extra time as the bomb can go down, but there's still definite opportunities here. Patrick, great work off the back of the MP9 is going to even things up into a 2v2. And now, if anything, this favors the CT side.
Definitely, but they don't currently have a defuse kit, and they also now have the disadvantage in terms of the manpower because Speedak on the Scout gets Patrick coming out. Box then finishes off Andy, and there it is. Nemiga, they come back with a quick taste of their own medicine for Unicorns of Love. They've fallen to the force buy. They're now left in a pretty precarious position where, I mean, they could have maybe taken the 1 eco, tried to get pull out a May buy in the next round. There would have been still 1 or 2 players who were a bit low on money, but instead they go for it. They're able to get 1 M4, a few pistols behind it as well. But if this doesn't work out at that point, Nemiga very likely looking at the 13-11 lead. So it's dangerous to be playing this back and forth right now for Unicorns of Love, especially being on the CT side, because it's a lot harder to actually get the economy going. It's so much more fragile. But here we go, outside control already taken. Pistol's not going to be able to do too much about it. Instead, KZY, he's wrote it down through Secret alongside Andy, so maybe they can catch someone off guard here.
Yeah, this has been, again, like super aggressive for the T side with just how much map control they've been able to gain. As said, you don't really see Nemiga a lot of the time, like, following that sort of fundamental guide of Counter-Strike. Like, to have players this far forward, well, as early in the round as they did, without even bringing the bomb, without really using that much utility, it's kind of ludicrous. And it can bite them in the back. And at least for now, it seems like that's the case. The bomb's going to be left in the open. The late secret aggression has actually worked out wonderfully for Unicorns of Love. And it seems like we might be getting a little bit more havoc here. Luckily, there are still 3 rifles remaining for Nemiga, so definite opportunities to turn this back. And again, you have to be careful if you're the CT side that you're not just giving away easy duels. For example, like the one we just saw from Crispy and now JDC. And actually, Andy's fallen as well. Like, all of these duels were ones that, sure, there were slight opportunities with the last one at least to get a trade kill, but the first one at least, you just gave Nemiga a frag.
Yeah, especially with so little time, really just trying to regroup at that point for Unicorns of Love, stack up towards the bomb sites would have been probably the best idea, but instead now B has been overrun. Smoke goes down just to be sure to make sure that bomb plant won't actually be stopped, and as it gets put in place, you don't really fancy the chances of Patrick and KZY anymore. At this point, they're just going to try and save the weapons. Patrick wants to find himself a rifle. That's a MAC-10 that he is going to be able to pick up. I'm not sure if there's any really left around that are retrievable. I don't believe so. Anyway, he doesn't want the MAC-10. There's a Scout over there, I believe. So that's a decent weapon, I suppose. Bring that into the next round alongside the M4. Gives them the chance to try and at least get something done. You get a bit of damage with the Scout, as we said. Try and pick off a few players. Have the M4 then to try and help out also. But other than that, they're going to have very little at most. Maybe Andy can upgrade a Deagle or something. But even then, you wouldn't really want to see that because you want them to have as strong of a buy as possible actually coming into that next gun round.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate fact is that with Unicorns of Love, it seems like they've almost fallen into the Nemiga trap. It's one of those situations where you go, okay, they're forced buy into we'll force buy. Like, we'll force buy against them, and then we'll win it, and then we'll be in a good situation. And it's not necessarily a bad call in terms of their finances, but that's almost exactly what Nemiga wants. They want these scrappy battles. They want these reduced economy fights. They want you to not have utility because in the individual Angels, that's where I would put my money on Nemiga. That's where they normally win their matches. They are a strong side when it comes to their individual aim, and when it comes to these weaker purchases, when it comes to the reduction in utility, they're going to swarm you, they're going to overwhelm you, and then they're going to win the round. And it's looking like the same again. A fast play into the A site, no time on the clock as they get the bomb down, and yeah, pretty much as easy as you like. There's not really anything the CT side can do here.
Yeah, I mean, call them for the rifle to be saved. At least if they can carry that over, they'll get themselves a bit of extra utility coming into the following round. Only getting 2,400, I believe, so it definitely will be of help. But at this point, it looks like Nemiga should be able to keep all 5 players alive. As I say, that Lollipop taking a little bit of a fight against Andy. Having the scout, I guess, is not really a weapon you need to save into this next round. They may want to try and just pull out the op and follow another way. And he's actually tagged down a couple of players on top of the bomb that maybe could actually do something right here. Still a couple players chilling around trying to get the exit frags, and there we go. 2 kills end up coming in the end. Maybe a third, not quite though for Crispy. And I do want to point out that he's having a little bit of a tough game so far. Down there on 5 to 16. It's not ideal. Patrick as well, also not doing too great, but he was lacking for a while and still actually is. Now he has 130 ping, so he's not having a good time. It is just a bit unfortunate. But Nemiga right now 13-7 up against the full buy round for the first time here out of Unicorns of Love on their CT side. And KZY is 3,300 and he doesn't have a defuse kit. That's annoying me. If this comes down to a retake and they lose because they don't have a kit, I will be very angry.
It's even just if he dropped the rifle over to a teammate so they could get more utility. Like, there's plenty of reasons not to have that much cash as the round begins, but whatever it is, we'll have to see. Maybe saving in case they lose, they want an AWP, but not really the best mentality to have. JDC, nice work from him. Slight misspray, but him and his teammate have managed to clean up this ramp push nicely. Even the slight dink onto Speedak, not going to be doing as much damage as expected. They've also got to be a little bit wary of Box, who is going to be sneaking his way up. Crispy going to be caught reloading. And, well, he had the right idea, but all he could do was look into the eyes of his opponent as he goes down. Back into this 2 versus 2. Now, they know that JDC was around this ramp area, so I imagine that Box is going to have the right idea, but didn't have anything in terms of the kill. And actually, missed spray coming out from Speedak gives the 4K over to JDC. Good round coming out from him. A step up to put him right near the top of the board. And while it's going to leave, again, this T-side with questionable finances, they could still buy, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nemiga. I think they probably will. Lollipop has already gone for the Kevlar. Sure, he may want to drop over from Box right here, who, yeah, has indeed gone ahead and given over 1 rifle so far. Able to give over a second, I think. Should have something on the floor to actually pick up for himself. Maybe he doesn't. I'm not too sure, actually. Yeah, let me go third person and have a little look. Yeah, there's an AK in front of him right now, which actually I believe was just dropped. So yeah, he in the end actually just given over a Mac 10. Sacrifices down. Nice teammate Box, willing to give away the rifles. Despite actually being the top performer right now. Has the most frags and also has 8 assists, so he's definitely putting in a lot of damage. But overall, Nemiga, they do get a pretty good investment here with the way they were able to actually spread out the cash. And knowing that Unicorns of Love are still in a very fragile position, as I said before, with the economy here on the CT side, Nemiga, they want to just try and put a stop to them before they can really build up any sort of a comeback.
Well, yeah, I think even if they had a few thousand left on every single player, we probably will still see a buy coming up from Nemiga. They, as you said, like to put the pressure on. They've been very aggressive in their plays. I don't think that their strat book is going to be the deepest we've ever seen, but they're just an irritation. Like they're that itch that keeps on itching, basically. They're going to continue to push and continue to fight these early fights versus the CT side. And as I said, they're very, very difficult to play against. And that's why I'm hoping we see more rounds where there's a lot of utility up for Unicorns of Love, because that's where things really started to work on the T side, where they were able to counter some of the plays Nemiga were making. For now on the CT side, we haven't really seen that too much. It's been an all-out brawl.
Yeah, and as you said, that's where Nemiga tend to kind of come out on top, where things are a little bit more scrappy. But here we go, Box trying to go down towards Secret. Andy holding up close with the op. I mean, if you want any weapon really in towards Secret to take on an op, it probably would be the Mac 10. You can be a little bit more maneuverable on it. Creeping out door right now, though. 3 players for Nemiga. This is a little bit of a switch up, trying to play the contact. Crispy up close in the vent, though. May not be expected. A little bit of a crossfire with Patrick on the bomb site. As they say that, though, they do clear it out. Patrick only able to get 1 as he swings back in from the bomb site. that, a little bit of an advantage initially goes over towards the T side. KZY returns one from Heaven. MDS also very low on health, and at the moment the bomb just dropped up on this A bomb site, yet to be retrieved, because they do have to be a little bit cautious. Known, of course, there's a player up in Heaven, already have an MDS solo on health. It should finally be planted, but I mean, it leaves Unicorns Alive in an okay spot for this retake, but again, they don't have a defuse kit right now to actually work with. There is one down on the bomb site, I believe. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I think that would have been brought up onto Patrick at least, almost directly onto the bomb, so that at least gives them a little bit of extra time. Casey's been spotted. I don't know if he would have actually heard the footsteps. I think it should have just got far enough around. MDS in the corner, but he's going to go down already solo on HP. Jo blind, almost manages to get away with it, but now it comes down just to box. Wants to try and deny that diffuser. There's nobody watching, and they actually got off it for a second. The kit is right there.
Oh no.
The kit was right
There
there.
was
but they
two of
didn't
them.
find
There was
it.
one at Vents, there was one on the bomb site. Oh, that is upsetting. That's just a round they cannot afford to lose. There was one close at the CT side events, and then there was one on the opposite side of the bomb site itself. But yeah, I mean, as you said, not able to find it, having to just give up on it. Box was creeping out Heaven, biding his time, hoping to just get that one kill, but in the end, he didn't even need it.
They all right away. That must have been really confusing for him. Like, what?
It's like,
Oh,
what's happening? Why are they're all just going?
yeah, don't worry, guys. I clutched it.
I'm just afraid of his presence. That's what it was.
He let off that aura. That's what it is. They knew that things wouldn't go their way, so they ran away. But that was the thing. Even if they found the kit, it could have easily gone very wrong for them if they hadn't actually spotted that player. And I don't think they would have done up until like they actually ran away and looked up. But yeah, mistakes made once again. Given Nemiga an extra round that, to be honest, they really didn't need. They're already in a strong position, and at least the CT side do come up with a decent amount of utility. I said I think that's important for them. Actually shooting out the windows as well is going to be Patrick, just to try and deny any Molotovs or anything coming over the top, but little do they know that, well, there's little on the other side. There's a smoke and 2 flashbangs is all the utility Nemiga have.
Yeah, very slow round for the moment, though. Andy is just towards outside, I believe, here with the AWP, watching the drop down towards main if anyone does actually try and wrap around, which very likely he may be able to find in a while. Jo and a couple other players looking like they might want to come around towards outside. But again, nothing really happening as of yet. Unicorns Alive, that's probably ideal for them. They're able to actually retain this utility. They aren't being pressured on heavily here in the beginning of the round. I think Jo is actually teaching Speedak how to throw a smoke. Is that what's happening here? Maybe it was a flash. I think he was trying to shoot the angle to show him, like, this is where you look. I think it's worked, though. Yeah, okay. They've actually been able to block that angle so that if an op is back towards the spawn, watching the A main wrap in, that it won't be able to really see anything. But the thing is, Andy's actually in hell, so he's still got a little bit of a gap to work with here. But only if they peek out slightly wider than they need to actually get into main. If they're being really cautious, they could wrap in. Here we go, 30 seconds remaining. They really do need to get a move on now, and the smokes, as I said, hadn't been ran down early in the round, so Unicorns of Love still had them to delay now with only 20 seconds remaining.
Yeah, extra nades being thrown out. They even have an incendiary as well that can be popped out through the vent from Crispy. He's got to be careful. They're going to jump onto his head. He's got
what is happening?
How is he still alive? Even with the death, he's managed to buy so much extra time. 5 seconds. I think that's it. I don't think they have enough time to actually get the bomb down. It didn't matter anyway. JDC is going to get that extra kill. That is really, really messy from Nemiga at the end. I think they just ran out of time, ran out of ideas, and eventually just ran to their death.
Yeah, I mean, they can get down to B if they have to stand on your head to get there first. And it's so awkward shooting down on the ladder as well. The inaccuracy, that was just the messiest fight I've ever seen. That was crazy. I mean, so normally when things are that hectic, Nemiga come out on top, but not this time.
He won by using his head.
Yeah, you just have to think about it. That was a good one. I don't know. Unicorns of Love, though, can they... Yeah, we'll give it to you. No, but it's kind of like, it's one of those so bad it's good, you know? It's the type of jokes I put out as well, so I have to admire you for it. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they can rely on winning rounds that way, so let's see if Unicorns of Love can actually keep it up against a weaker investment in this round. It is still the full buy, though, from Nemiga, so this is a chance definitely for Unicorns of Love to start getting some momentum going in the next round. They do come out on top of this one. Very likely Nemiga would just be looking at that full eco.
Good start already from Crispy, spotting the push. As you mentioned, he's someone who hasn't had the best performance so far, but it's never too late to kick things off. Just cleaning things up at the moment. 3 kills coming up for Crispy, and while this should leave the round over, already spotting out Box as he tries to push back in, and MDS is not really anywhere near to do anything. Flawless round from Unicorns of Love. The Force Bite achieves absolutely nothing. That's roughly what Nemiga will have going into this round, as their money is completely bottomed out.
Yeah, I can't even afford to upgrade the pistols, and that is probably an uncomfortable area for Nemiga to be in. They're used to having the weapons, as we said. They love those Force Spies, but at this point, being up 14 to 10, taking that eco, making sure they can get the guns out again is a necessity. But looks like they want to go for a quick push out door. Slow it down slightly on that push in. There is 2 players towards main, though, and well, only the Glocks, it's hard to deal with. MDS, though, okay, gets 1 on the bomb site. Final few bullets then rips off the head of KZY and gets himself a FAMAS. The only issue is very low on health, so 1 really anywhere on the body would have been plenty to actually finish him off. But Crispy, just to be sure, gets the headshot. 11 to 14, couple kills at least being found, so it's not terrible. But I mean, even then, Unicorns of Love, they only really need to keep enough for 1 buy in the bank at all times, because losing more than that and the game is over, of course. But here we go, the buy coming in again from Nemiga. It's not perfect.
Yeah, definitely a piece or 2 missing. A Galil, which, yeah, it's a Galil. There's not really anything interesting to talk about when it comes to that gun. Nice timing on the nades, though. Blow up the door as the Molotov flies through, and Box, he's using all this noise to get back in and get that opening pick. Nice start to the round for them, and actually going to be able to take an awful lot of map control within just the first 20 seconds. It depends what they're actually going to do with it, though. Do they actually continue this execution through, slow down to try and force a few rotations out? Or are they just going to leave it to Box? That seems to be the idea at the moment. Everybody sitting pretty, slight rotation coming in from JO as well, and just basically Box saying, look, guys, let me kill everyone. Let me do the work. You guys can just reap the rewards at the end of it.
KZY ends up going down as well, and I mean, there's still a bit of a chance here. Patrick pulls one back. I'm not too sure why they're bothering to really push alone at this point. Lollipop could have waited a little bit longer for this flank to come around into heaven, but doesn't look like it's going to be too big of a deal. They catch JDC getting aggressive through the hut. They're also able to, of course, get that final kill then as Box comes through heaven. But yeah, definitely could have been a little bit dangerous there. Some individual pushes, kind of what we expect from the Nemiga, as well, as we said. Not always playing off each other perfectly, but it's the individual skill that they just have so much of that usually is hard to deal with. And despite the economy having actually been put into an okay spot from Unicorns of Love, they're still going to have to try and spread out the money here just to be able to get that buy-in. So a little bit of a pause comes through, gives them some time to actually discuss who needs to drop what weapons to who. And with that, it should be pretty good. Patrick, I think, maybe put down on towards a weaker weapon. Yeah, he gets the FAMAS, but he's lagging horribly as well, so that's fair. You don't really want to give him the best of the best. 130 ping still, unfortunately, it hasn't gone down at all. And as we said, in a best of 1 especially, it's not what you want, because there's it's all just on that one map. You don't want to be playing with any disadvantages that are not necessary, but he tried to restart his route earlier on, it seemed, and that didn't help out. But here we go. 4 more rounds in a row for Unicorns of Love. Do you believe, Tom? Do you think they can do this, pull it into an overtime?
No.
Just a quick answer, okay. No faith at all from Tom. He doesn't believe. Unicorns of Love, though, I mean, love is a powerful emotion. Maybe they can use it, channel the energy to try and bring themselves back into this. Or maybe KZY can, because he's gone ahead and actually got himself a quick triple as the A-push came in, assisted by the op of Andy. And with that, Box is all alone. He's boxed in towards ramp right now. Although, as I say that, a little bit risky for JDC to fight. If he went down, suddenly it's a 1v2, and at that point, it's certainly winnable. But 15
Yeah,
to 12.
I'm actually surprised he didn't go down. Like, it seemed like Box had that angle all day long. They have actually managed to put themselves into a fairly decent position here, though. Like, I honestly thought that after the last couple of rounds and how sort of dicey it's been, and with basically Box able to win a round individually, I thought that Nemiga would now just put this game to bed. But instead, they're going to go for what is basically the simple strat, except it's not simple. It's JO, which he's not a bad player, but he's not quite simple. So he's going to have to try and do some impressive work with an AK, because he will not have one in the next round. They do not have that financial stability. Maybe a bomb plant can net him one, but this is all about damage. The only thing is, you know that the CT side are going to be forcing into the rounds to come anyway, so I'm sort of questioning this. We'll see, though. He's going to be able to do some damage initially, but actually takes far more back in return. None of his teammates have armor, so even juggling an AK off to a teammate seems kind of redundant, but now left in a situation where your hero AK is wounded and the rest of the players don't have much else at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. I'd like to see Jo trade that AK over, because even though he has the Cavalier at this point, it's just not really worthwhile. It gives it the Lollipop, though. I mean, that's not much of a not much of an upgrade. Unfortunately, he's the only player within distance, I believe. No speed hack is here as well. So definitely could be a worthwhile trade, just so that they actually have someone who can take a couple of bullets before going down with the AK in his hands. But let's see. I mean, Crisby also being low for Unicorns of Love. There's definitely still the opportunity for them to try and get something done here with the weaker buy, as they bring it in towards the A-bomb site now. And in the meantime, Patrick realizing that this is a possibility, also that Heaven could be taken over. He's pushed forward into lobby, realizing no one's in lobby itself, but will he be expecting them to still be up close in door? I think Lollipop right now is actually watching for this flank. As I say that, though, he begins to push out. So is anyone else actually paying attention to it right now? I think Patrick could be a big issue, and indeed, walking out, getting ready to see if he can find anyone. So far, quite passive from Nemiga. So, I mean, I've been trying to build this up, but there's not much going on. Eventually, JDC able to get one. Patrick will eventually pounce, put down after a single frag, but he's kept them in a decent position. 2 versus 2 right now. Lollipop on the bomb site gonna fall. The final player has been spotted coming out of Heaven. And there it is. Unicorns of Love get themselves 13. 2 more to go. I mean, you seemed set in stone that it wasn't going to happen, but I mean, at this point, it's looking fairly plausible.
Yeah, the only worry for me is that this round was basically 1 AK and some pistols, and it was close. It was way too close. Like, sure, some of it was down to luck, like threading the needle through the door. That was really lucky at the timing of that to get the bomb down, but even still, you have to feel that Unicorns of Love needed to keep that a little bit cleaner. It doesn't matter in terms of like their buy or anything like that, but it's still just one of those things where it keeps you on edge a little bit, and it sets them up nicely going into this round. Sure, Jo only has an AK, but the rest of the team have got a good buy, and that is a fantastic start from Lollipop.
Yeah, not good for Unicorns of Love at all. We might see them maybe trying to get aggressive somewhere to pull something back, and that works from JDC. Shoulder peek and a quick one-tap onto MDS, who he, of course, had seen had been just posted up on that angle, and doing so quite statically. I mean, that wasn't a kill JDC had to work for too hard. Needed the accuracy, though, and definitely showed it to us. With that now, they're looking tempted to try and still actually aggress around this area and see what else they can find. Hoping that after getting that 1 kill on towards MDS, that Nemiga will be like, okay, this is a dangerous area, and maybe they fall back off and give up the control. And it seems like, indeed, that is exactly what's happened. Unicorns of Love with this, pushing forward, should be able to get the full lobby control. And we'll have a very good idea about what's actually going on as Nemiga focus fully towards outside.
Nade over the top doesn't really do too much, and there is definitely going to be information passed across to the rest of the roster about rotations coming in. In fact, they've already gambled 2 players into this B site. Quite a lot, but in terms of presence elsewhere, I can understand it. We haven't seen a push down ramp. We haven't really seen any take on the outside. So the fact that they still have Andy being able to watch that with the AWP, I don't think they're going to be too worried about a push back in this direction. So at least a decent read for now, and we'll see how the T's are actually going to cope with 2 players being within this site. A little bit of noise being made. Lollipop going to be opening the door. JDC had a wonderful one-tap. This time he gets the spray down of 2, and there's still another man on the site to deal with. It's all left onto Lollipop with just 2 HP. There is no chance for him in this round, as a strong B site hold. Good reads coming in for Unicorns of Love, and while I said I didn't think it was possible, they have proved me wrong. This is looking good now. It would take some mistakes, but as said, there's still the death ball. There's still the potential, and I always get a little bit worried when Nemiga are in these sort of positions, because I definitely feel like Unicorns of Love could throw this round away.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Nemiga like that aggression. They have plenty of utility here alongside the SMGs, so this could get dangerous. I mean, let's see. They're trying to actually go quick out towards this A-bomb site, straight down the vents, actually. MDS already covering quite a lot of ground. Should be able to get on towards that B-bomb site and actually spots JDC rotating in. The Molotov in the back corner now. He's already thrown down the smoke. Thankfully, he is able to run back through it, but not expecting MDS to be above. Ends up going down. Lollipop getting one as well in the meantime. What is going on? Just action all over at this point. The bomb is down on B, but with a man advantage for Nemiga, despite having the slightly weaker weapons, they're still in just a very strong position. And Jo, very likely to find a couple players coming down defense soon. I mean, ends up falling either way, but does get info about what's happening. Knows there's at least 2 in that area.
Oh, this is nice in the retake. They've already managed to find two. It's just going to come down to the time. The flashbang actually catches Andy, and Speedak just on the other side. All he has to do is continue to survive. His team have managed to do it right at the end. And as said, it always worries me when we get Nemiga in these sort of positions. They work the wonders with the Mac 10s. And I think the thing that's going to be most infuriating watching that back, if you're Unicorns of Love, is you basically just lost that map off a matchmaking strategy. The vent
Yeah,
drop.
I mean, it's kind of